In today's install video, we're going to detail how to install the TST or Twin Sticks Technologies dual battery box with AHC. Now, most other kits require the automatic height control to be removed in order to install the dual battery box. The TST kit allows you to retain automatic height control while you install your dual battery. Now, before we get going with the installation video of how to install the battery box, it's really important to note that there are a couple of components that need to be relocated in order to make space available over here. So this is just not a bolt-in. You will need to do some fab work. First of all, you need to relocate your power steering. Now, you can make your own bracket to do that, or TST does have a bracket available. I do suggest that you order that bracket because that allows you to bolt in and relocate your power steering fluid. Now, there are a few other components that need to be relocated to the inside of the firewall. In order to do that, you're going to have to drill some holes and insert some riv nuts to provide new positions to bolt these components on. We'll detail that a little bit later in the video, but do make sure that you have a riv nut tool and are able to install these components. We will provide links in both the video and on the website as to the tools that you will need. So before we can install the dual battery box, you need to make this space available. Now, what you will see is I have already relocated these components out of the way over here. And what I suggest you do is you first move them out of the way and install the battery box roughly so that you can find where to put the components. You'll see specifically this one over here is very, very tight to your air cleaner box over here. And you need to have the battery in place to determine how close you can get over here before you mark these two locations. Now, we'll explain how to put the nutserts in so that you can relocate this, as well as this one over here, towards the end of the video. But for now, undo them and just move them out of the way while you install your dual battery box. The other important thing to note is that our power steering fluid has been relocated. And this is a fairly major change. You need to remove your power steering fluid reservoir from this location. Twin Sticks Technologies does have this power steering relocation bracket that is mounted over here. So I do highly recommend that you purchase the power steering relocation bracket as part of this install. It is available on the website, and there is a how-to guide as to how to install this power steering relocation and reroute your hoses over there to your power steering pump way down there. So certainly go ahead and make sure that you've done this relocation before you start with your battery box. Before we get started with the install, we just want to make sure that you have everything you need in your kit. The first thing you're going to need is this doubler plate. It's going to go in at the bottom underneath the battery box. On top of that will be the battery box, and then you will have your spacer that will go in there. Once that's all in, you're going to place your battery. You're going to have your battery tie down. You'll also have a pack of bolts and a couple of spacers that you're going to need to complete the install. Right, so to install the battery box, what you need to do is place the spacers. The 20 spacer is going to go in that location over there, and the 10 spacer in that location. Now, if you have the spreader plate, I suggest you put the spreader plate down next, like that. Okay, and then we will install the actual battery box itself on top of the spreader plate. So the kit comes with 3 different length fasteners. Your longest bolt is going to go into the one that has the 20 spacer. The middle size one goes in the one with a 10 spacer, and the very short one is going to go into the hole that has no spacer. So you can go ahead and install these fasteners next. And the reason we have these fasteners at different lengths is that we have protrusion into the wheel well, and we want to keep the protrusion of the fasteners as short as possible in the wheel well. Once you've got the bolts all started, you can go ahead and just run them all down. Before you continue with the installation, just take a look and make sure that you've got all the bolts in the correct position. As you can see there, you don't want them protruding into the wheel well just above your tire. The next thing you need to do is install the spacer to cover the heads of the bolts, and then you can bring your battery and set your battery into the new location. So the battery that I'm using is this 65 series battery, and the positive needs to be on the inside. And the reason is you need a little bit of extra clearance to the hood of the Lexus when you're installing this size battery. So now that you have the battery in place, you can start looking at the location of these components over here. So what I recommend that you do to install these components is position them where you want them, and then take a marker and mark the hole locations that you need to make for this one, as well as on this side for this one over here. Now we have relocated our horn to this position near our power steering fluid reservoir on the front over here, and used this hole that exists over there. In order to do this, we had to extend the wires to move the horn to this location, but you can do whatever you like to do. This is just a convenient position for me to position the horn. Now, in order to drill at least this hole over here, you're going to need to take out your airbox, and you do that by removing the 3 bolts that hold it down over there, and removing this clamp, and then you can take the airbox out. And with the airbox out, you can now drill those 3 holes that we need over there and install riv nuts. The next little job I want to take care of is mounting these resistors back up again. Now you'll remember we had to remove them from these locations, so I'm going to drill and put a nutsert inside of there, and then I'll be able to mount this one back in that location. On this one over here, we've investigated and said we will be able to fit in this location, so I need to drill and insert nutserts there. In order to do that, I'm going to grab my punch some pilot holes, drill a pilot hole, and then we'll pop the nutserts in. So I'm going to fast forward you through all of that and join you back once those components are mounted back in position. Once you're done installing these components in their location, you can go ahead and reinstall your airbox and your battery tray in the bottom over there. Once the battery is in, all you need to do is install the 2 fasteners and then tie down the tie-down member over here to hold the battery into place. Now don't over tighten it, you don't want to crush the battery, but you can get this nice and tight so that it doesn't come loose.